Hi, hello. This is Kiran Anishetti. Welcome to Testbook, the super coaching. I am specialized in polity, governance, international relations, PSIR optional, and public administration optional. My educational qualifications are master's degree in political science and public administration, UGC NET qualified in both political science as well as public administration. I have done my MBA from Usmania University. I have done my LLB as well. Now I am pursuing LLM specialized in constitutional law. Experience, I have more than 10 years of experience. I teach across Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh. I have successfully trained many aspirants who got into IAS, IPS and other central services. Some of my students, they got into Group PA services in state services. Polity is very essential component in UPSC Civil Services exam. In prelims, if you see the trend in recent 5 years, the number of questions that have been asked from polity, the number of questions that are being asked from polity in recent times, it is somewhere between 15 to 20 questions. In recently held prelims last year in 2023 prelims, 17 to 18 questions have been asked from polity. This in itself shows the significance of polity. In this session, in a nutshell, I am going to explain you 5 mantras that you need to follow to crack UPSC and to score high marks, both in prelims as well as mains, including interview. And polity is going to play a crucial role in your effort. आपको अगर लाल बत्ती वाली गाड़ी अगर चाहिए तो, if you want to become IAS or IPS, and if you want to get into this red light vehicle, you have to focus on polity. So what are these 5 mantras to be followed to get high score in polity? First and foremost mantra, polity is useful not only from prelims and paper 2 of mains, it is also very important from ethics point of view as well as general essay. Why ethics? You may be wondered. In ethics, maximum marks you will score from case studies. In case studies, you have to explain your conduct, your behavior, your approach towards the citizen, your duties, functions. The examiner asks you, explain why you are going to perform your functions, your duties in particular manner. Explain. What we call in polity, constitutional morality comes to your help, such as republicanism, the lofty ideal of fraternity, constitutionalism. All these concepts and philosophies that we are going to study under polity, definitely they are going to help you in ethics, in solving case studies. In general essay, administrative reforms, Panchayat Raj system, women empowerment, and anyhow in paper 2, we have the core component of polity. And in prelims, it plays vital role in your success because remember, my friends, polity is limited. They cannot write a new constitution. So if you thoroughly prepare, definitely you will get more than 95% of answers correct from polity component because the syllabus is concise, and I assure you the material that I provide in our coaching, UPSC cannot cross beyond that. It has been proved last year. The institution where I taught in Hyderabad, they called me after the prelims exam and they took the schedule. Out of 17 questions in 2023 prelims, 16 questions came directly from my material. They took out the videos on the dates on which I taught these concepts and they advertised. This is my assurance. Definitely UPSC won't be able to cross my material, both with regard to prelims as well as mains. You follow this mantra. My material and prelims is important not only from prelims, paper 2 of GS, but also for ethics and general essay. Second mantra, you have to prepare the exam holistically. That means you have to prepare the subject both from prelims as well as mains perspective. Unless and until you prepare the subject from mains perspective as well, you won't be able to give adequate answers. Forget about mains, even in prelims. Glaring example, the questions that have been asked in recent prelims, in 2023 prelims, constitutionalism and due process. I challenge you, more than 90% of advocates, they won't be able to answer what does due process mean, which I taught in my first chapter, Salient Features of Indian Constitution. These ideals I teach in my first lesson, that is Salient Features of Indian Constitution. Unless and until you prepare both from prelims as well as mains perspective, you cannot answer such kind of questions. Because the way MCQs are asked in UPSC prelims, they are not just about facts, they are about concepts, the philosophy behind the concept. Third mantra, comparative analysis. We need to tune our mind. We should inculcate this faculty of comparative analysis, comparing and contrasting the similarities and dissimilarities between two similarly appearing concepts. For instance, the similarities between money bill and financial bill. Money bill under Article 110, financial bill under Article 117, subclass 1. Both of them comprise the provisions mentioned in Article 110. But the difference with regard to financial bill, it comprises some or all or any provision mentioned in Article 110 along with any matter of general legislation. Both of them ought to be introduced only with the prior assent of the President, first in Lok Sabha. But the difference is, with regard to money bill, the Rajya Sabha cannot reject. But with regard to finance bill, the Rajya Sabha can reject. I told my students when I taught in 2022, we focus on these differences. Immediately within a few months, they asked this question, the differences between financial bill under Article 117 subclass 1 and appropriation bill under Article 117 subclass 3. In the same vein, mark my words, the differences between 0R and call attention motion. Very, very important, because both of them are Indian innovations in parliamentary practices. But 0R is informal device, call attention motion is formal device. Because 0R is not mentioned in rules of the house, but call attention motion is mentioned in rules of the house. This is how your mind should be attuned to compare and contrast the subtle and confusing facts and concepts. This is third mantra to be followed to score high. Fourth mantra. Most of the aspirants they are bothered about how to answer current-based questions. I always suggest them in polity, economy, environmental issues, S&T. First, in order to answer the questions which are current-based, you have to delve deep into the subject. You have to go to the bottom of the subject. Then only you will get the gems. There is no use in referring newspapers and magazines. They will only give you the issues. You will be able to identify the recent issues. But the adequate answer you will get only by delving deep into the subject, which I will do, I will make you to do, to delve deep into polity, the subject of polity. Glaring example, recently the Union government created Civil Service Board with regard to the administration of National Capital Territory of New Delhi. The mainstream media, which is biased, it distorted the facts like anything. But if you refer Article 239 double capital A, subclass 3, subclass B, mainstream media like Yudhishthira in Mahabharata, Ashwadhama Hata Kunjara. Yudhishthira, tactfully by listening to the advice given by Krishna, Ashwadhama Hata, slowly he says Kunjara. Ardha Satya he speaks. In the same vein, mainstream media speaks Ardha Satya with regard to Constitution of Civil Service Board for the administration of National Capital Territory of New Delhi. It projects Article 239 double capital A's, subclass 3, subclass small a, according to which the Delhi Assembly has authority to legislate on the matters mentioned in List 2 and List 3, except Entry 1, Entry 2 and Entry 18. The subsequent articles, Article 239 double capital A, subclass 3, subclass small b says, Parliament has simultaneous authority to legislate on any entry in List 1, List 2, List 3 with regard to the administration of National Capital Territory of New Delhi. Parliament has simultaneous authority to legislate on any entry in any list, state list, central list, concurrent list, It is clearly enunciated by Article 239 double capital A, subclass 3, subclass small b. One more thing. Under Article 239 double capital A, subclass 3, subclass small c, if there were to be any conflict between the law made by Parliament and Delhi State Legislative Assembly with regard to the administration of National Capital Territory of New Delhi, the law made by Parliament will prevail over that of Legislative Assembly of Delhi. You see, which paper tells this truth? And the last nail in the coffin, Article 239 double capital A, subclass 7, subclass small a says, any law made by Parliament with regard to the administration of New Delhi, that is, with regard to the administration of National Capital Territory of New Delhi, that law of Parliament will not be considered as an amendment to the Constitution under Article 368. That means it would be considered as ordinary law. Any law made by Parliament with regard to the administration of New Delhi. It's an ordinary law. It is mentioned in the Constitution. This is why we have to delve deep into the subject which I provide you. I challenge the material, the things that I discuss in our class. The topmost institutions in New Delhi, they do not have that. This is my guarantee. You can compare and contrast. And in Mithun Lal case, the Supreme Court enunciated that the President can issue ordinance with regard to the administration of National Capital Territory of New Delhi. Now you tell me, my friends, have you got this information from any source? You tell me. That's why you have to join Testbook, the super coach. We give the unique things which you will not get in any other coaching institute. That is our guarantee. Fifth mantra, applied thinking. What we learn in one chapter, you have to apply in another chapter. You have to apply on current-based issues. For instance, in my very first classes, I teach the definition of constitution given by Aristotle. The meaning of constitution, everybody discuss mundanely, mechanically, the way Chatur mug up the things in Three Idiots picture. Aristotle gives beautiful and marvelous definition on constitution. He says, constitution is not just about creating three organs of the state and distributing the powers and functions amongst them. It is the way of life of. What does way of life of people mean? The wisdom that has been accumulated over generations together. For instance, secularism, which is in our blood. We have given shelter to Parsis, we have given shelter to Jews, we have given shelter to Buddhists. This is what Swami Vivekananda says in World Religion of Parliament, Chicago. I am proud to belong to the nation which has given shelter to all the persecuted religions and sects on the earth. And we have built temples for them. It is in our blood. Welfare nature of the state. It is enunciated in Kautilya's Ardha Shastra, Manudharma Shastra, Kalidasu Kumara Sambhavam, Shanti Parva of Mahabharata, which we incorporated in our constitution in preamble, in directive principles of state. This is constitution, which is the definition given by Aristotle. And Aristotle says, any change in the constitution, it is the change in the way of life. How you are going to apply it for current-based questions or in any other chapter. Nowadays, the controversy erupted with regard to basic structure. You explain the basic structure, the philosophy behind basic structure. More than 95% of the institutions which teach, they do not teach the philosophy behind basic structure. We teach. So you explain the basic structure, philosophy behind basic structure, and you conclude with the definition given by Aristotle. The evaluator will fall flat at you. Because in the same case, Keshavananda Bharati case, Justice Hegde and Mukherjee, while enunciating the philosophy behind basic structure, they say that Constitution is not just a political document, it's a social philosophy which has two sets of values. One is eternal values, the other is changing. Eternal values are permanent, they cannot be changed, such as the lofty ideals that have been enshrined in our Constitution, Republic, Constitutionalism, welfare nature of the state, secularism. Can we amend these features of the Constitution? We cannot, because it is our way of life. They are ingrained in our blood. This you can support by giving the definition of Aristotle while concluding your answer. These 5 mantras you have to follow in order to reach Sheelam Parambhushanam. Now my question, where it is written? It is your life ambition to reach here. And if you follow these 5 mantras, definitely you will reach here. Sheelam Param Bhushan. Thank you.